Everybody, welcome back to the Rochester Real Estate Show. Joined today by new addition to the Anthony Butera team, brother from a different mother, Luis Pichardo. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this, hopping on this podcast. Hopefully, first of many, and good to go. Anything you want to say about yourself? Putting you on the spot. Sorry.
You're good. No, super excited for the opportunity to partner with the best team in Rochester, right, in regards to real estate, and very excited, again, to move forward with the Anthony Butera team, working alongside you and, the other guys and girls that are on the team, and looking forward to this podcast as well.
Yeah, no, we're excited too. Not podcast, but all things aside from the podcast, we're excited to have you and excited to partner with you. And Luis brings years of experience in the industry to just strengthen himself for his clients and strengthen everything that we're doing as a team together out there in the community. So it's an awesome feeling, man. So good stuff. Topic today, and we've done this before, but I mean, it's always, with the spring market here officially, it's good to revisit this in terms of, what to do to get your home ready to sell.
Right.
We just typically have the dynamic of seasonality in our market where, the weather changes, it's nicer out, and then people just come out of the woodwork. The listings, the sellers, the inventory picks up, and same with buyers really too. So, for sellers, keep in mind, there's these new buyers or more serious buyers now that the weather is broke. And you're going to have, don't get me wrong, we're still in tight inventory market.
Yep.
But we're going to have, we saw it last week, and, we're seeing it to where the inventory's picking up.
Yep.
So you're going to have more competition as a seller. Don't get me wrong, this isn't like the market shifting type of conversation, but just like, what can you do to stand out from the competition? What should you be doing to get ready to sell? That's the topic of the day. So,
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that right now, and I've worked with sellers and I've worked with buyers, right?
Sure.
Especially, right now in the spring market, which you just described, we can walk into a home and it's just so interesting because the things that we're going to talk about today, right? It just makes a big difference, but it doesn't cost sometimes it doesn't even cost anything to do the things that we're about to discuss.
So I was going to say, the little things tend to make the biggest difference.
The little things, man. And I think it's extremely important for a home seller to know this maybe beforehand so that they can maybe start working on these things even before, they consult professionals to go over their home.
Yeah. No, I think there's a preemptiveness, so to speak, that's required to properly execute your game plan, whether buying or selling. But I feel like, especially for both, but, topic being selling, like, like you said, I get it in terms of like there's stuff you can do before you just get full blown into it with a real estate professional. However, our approach is very much like, look, if you're a year out, like we want to meet with you.
Absolutely.
So that we can execute this game plan together over the course of a year. So like If you're planning on selling next spring or this winter, whatever, if you're going to be moving out of state or the kids are graduating high school next spring, next summer, and then you're going to be moving, we'd rather help you with the game plan now than waiting till next March.
Yeah.
Because then it could be like, well, you really should do this. And now we're, banking on contractors showing up and that sort of stuff versus kind of limping towards it, so to speak. So.
Yeah. And also, let's just put like an avatar out there to who we're going to be speaking towards. And we can speak to the investment side as well. I know you have a lot of experience in that, but what you just laid out, we're talking about a residential home,
No, that's a good point.
You're possibly in your, maybe your first house that you moved into, married. Now you have maybe a kid, pets. So you're looking to possibly, bigger house, maybe a different school district, right?
Yep.
So imperative that, as real estate professionals, we can look past, right?
Right.
The things that are not all fully put together, and we can make we can make good, we can give you good advice.
I have that conversation all the time with people. They're like, I'm not ready for you to come over. Like, I don't want you to be ready.
Right,
Like, leave
right.
the dishes in the sink, leave the clothes in
Right.
the all that stuff. It doesn't matter. We, like you said, we can look past
Yes.
the mess that your kids made in the family room.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
We're not asking you to get the house show ready or picture ready
Absolutely.
for us to come over and help you with the consultation aspect of
Absolutely.
it. So yeah, good point. So what are the things you got? What advice would you give to a seller in terms of some key things to stand out?
Yeah, so I'll start with free. So
Love it.
these are 3 things that are, let's go 3, and they're free for the win.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, let's declutter, all countertops. I know we got like the Keurig, for the coffee. We have the we have all these
Napkin holder,
the KitchenAid,
yeah.
the KitchenAid. We got, the hot pot, in the counter, and it's all easy in there and accessible. But let's start thinking of a place to put those things, those items in. Maybe you don't have to do that right now, right? Because maybe you're a year out.
Right.
But just start thinking, okay, where can I put this? And sometimes you're in that property, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and you have a lot of stuff. Even your storage compartments are full of stuff.
Right.
So maybe thinking of a garage sale, maybe thinking of
Good
how to
point.
repurpose some of these items that are taking up your storage space.
Turning free into profitable with the garage sale. I like it.
Yeah.
Hopefully my wife's listening.
So start thinking and creating a game plan around this.
Yeah.
For me, this is extremely overwhelming, right? Because I'm like the free spirit in the house. Like I'm just all over the place. I don't like, having to deal with these amount of tasks in a short amount of period of time.
Sure.
So with me, knowing this information, I think it would help me, so I can have my wife help me out with this, right?
Yeah.
And so that she can create the game plan and the sheet of things that we need to do.
Well, I love that you're on the topic of free.
Yes.
And this is just, I don't know. Like, a lot of this will come back to what I'm going to say. A lot of this show will come back to what I'm going to say right now.
Yeah.
If you have an agent that doesn't tell you this advice,
Yeah.
and like there's a look in the mirror element to what I'm going to say. As a seller, of like you know your house is messy.
Yeah.
They're not telling you to do anything about it.
Yeah.
You got the wrong agent. Selfishly on our end, right? But I mean, it's so true, because my point is like, this is the simple, obvious stuff.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from it with that statement, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's so mandatory in order to be effective.
Yeah.
Now, there's different layers of what you just said in terms of decluttering, too.
Yeah.
There's, decluttering for photo day may be slightly different than decluttering for when
Yes.
you're showing the house or doing an open house.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, you don't want to leave a mess behind for people coming through,
Right.
but your most impactful day of the process is picture day. Which
Absolutely.
we've said a bunch on this show before. So, there may, like the Keurig, for example.
Yep.
You got a process to go through of selling your home,
Yep.
and you still want coffee in the morning.
Yep.
People understand you're living there, your Keurig's
Exactly.
out. But if it's like standing out for photos, and you adhere to that minimalist type of strategy, then just take it out, put it back if you need, type of stuff, you know?
And here's what I'll say, Jason. So there's also a different level of intensity that may help you in the decluttering phase and the other things that we're going to discuss. So like, let's say, there may be some challenges, right, with maybe your property. Maybe it's on a main road, right?
Sure.
Maybe your property is on a main road. Maybe it doesn't have a fence. I don't want you to, we can't change the main road.
Right.
And I don't recommend you put in a fence for the next buyer, right? I don't want you to do, I don't want you to do that.
Yep.
But if we're on a main road, we can't change that condition. So let's do the best that we can to declutter, right? Let's do an outstanding job in this phase of the things that we can control.
Let's work with what we have and
Exactly.
maximize it as best
Exactly.
as possible. Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
why I love this topic starting off with like, okay, here's all the free things you can do.
Exactly.
Like if you're not willing to put that sort of effort forth, then
Yep.
yeah, your house isn't going to sell for what it should.
Right. And I mean, you can hire some
Bluntly,
people,
right?
Right. You can, if you don't want to put that effort,
Right.
you know, you
Yep.
do have the option to hire some people to help you with
Yep.
this, right?
It's just you can't be in the position of like I'm going to maximize the value that my home's going to sell for. If
Exactly.
you're just going to sell it with a turd on the carpet.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay.
So let's move on to the second thing that
Yep.
I have is it's doing a deep clean, right?
Okay.
Again, nothing that I'm going to say here is going to blow anyone's mind,
Right.
but it is just the simple things.
Important to hear.
Deep cleaning, you know, getting into all the cupboards, obviously. And then here's another one. Let's say you have carpet down, and I've had this conversation. Like I'll walk in, the carpet is definitely, it's got stains. There's odors in the home, and they're like, you know, should I put flooring down? Should I put brand new flooring down? If you are going to enjoy the flooring, you know, for the next couple of years before
Right.
you sell, that may be an option for you. But if you're getting ready to list, you know, I wouldn't do the flooring for someone else again, because they may want some different flooring. So again, going back to working with what we have, can we clean this,
Yep.
you know, carpet? Can we get, you know, a deep clean out of it,
Yep.
right? What can we work with, right?
Do you know there's hardwoods underneath the carpet? Maybe pull them up
Exactly.
if they're shot. Yeah, stuff
Exactly.
like that. I agree. Yep.
Exactly. So working with what we have, also having, you know, if you're going to have a professional that's going to be open and honest with you, right? We're not in the house every day. You possibly are in the house every day, right? So there are things that we can see that maybe you're just trained to not notice because you know you've been there for some time.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and point those things out, and I think it's very important to, if there are strong odors, to create a game plan around that, right?
I agree.
Because the buyers can't smell from social media. They can't smell from Zillow
a great
or
point.
wherever they're looking at the house. And I've been with buyers when we walk in and they're like, nope, I'm out.
Walking right out.
I'm out. So if you can control that, if we can do something before we list a property in regards to that, I think that'll give you a higher return.
And listen, this isn't saying get rid of your pets,
Exactly.
right?
No,
and we
no.
actually just had an example last week where, you know, the homeowner had a couple cats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allergic to cats, so like I'm very sensitive to it. But like I didn't smell anything. You know, she was aware. I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, you're actually good. Like the smell is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like if somebody's, you say, also allergic to cats or whatever, and like they're just not going to buy a house that's ever had a cat in it, we can't control that.
We can't.
Right? But let's take the you know, the whatever you call them, the apparatuses that they jump all over and stuff, you know, the toys and stuff. Let's remove that stuff. Let's
Yeah.
remove the dog bed from the photos.
Yeah.
You know, as much as possible, if the pets have to be inconvenienced for the week that you're showing
Yeah.
it or in a showing, then, you know, there's stuff that you can do to like move it away.
Yep.
But yeah, to your point, like odors, I mean, aside from like, you know, just blatant defects
Yep.
with a home, right? There's probably not a bigger turnoff than walking into a house with just a stench that you know is going to be a problem to get out.
It's so funny. I mean, we literally like we'll open the door, right? And
You're out.
you'll just see the client be like, "Yep, I'm
Nope,
done."
I'm done.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a trigger.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times carpet can do that.
Yeah.
Or carpet can be the problem.
Yeah.
Smoking, right, is a big thing, you know, especially these days. And I just feel like not to go on a tangent, but like we've gotten a lot more sensitive to it as a society compared to like when we were growing up, right? The smoking section in the diner or whatever, like you're just used to it. Now it's like, oh, clearly they smoke.
Yeah.
That may be one where it's like, hey, stop smoking in your house while it's being sold,
Yeah.
right? There's various I mean, obviously air fresheners and stuff like that. But there's products and companies out there with products, I should say more so, that like suck the stench out of the house.
Yeah.
That few $100, $500, whatever they go for, that can be the example where it's like, look at, I would never tell you spend money unless there's a return on it.
Yeah.
Spend this $500.
Absolutely.
So otherwise you're just the stinky house.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants that.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants a stinky kid. Nobody wants a stinky house. So cool. What else?
Yeah. The last one, this can be emotional, and I will preface this next point with this, right? If emotionally selling the house is going to, you think it's going to negatively affect you emotionally, right? Mm-hmm. We don't ever want you, in a bad situation. So I think also having a professional that cares about, right, your emotional state, because I've been in situations where the home sell, I'm in the home looking at possible value of the home because there was a recent death, right? There was a situation with the family, right, that happened. So we have to be careful around that. And, it can be extremely emotional. And I've been in front of clients that have been, in a rough emotional state.
Sure.
And I have advised sometimes, let's take a break, right? Let's make sure that this is the right thing to do. So the next point is depersonalizing the home. Sometimes certain buyers, can see themselves better living in that space when we depersonalize. So that means taking down the family portrait, taking down some of the personal items, right, that we're accustomed to having around that, that it is kind of a symbol for our family, right?
Sure.
And again, this advice may not be for everyone, right?
I hear you.
Because it can be very personal and emotional. But this process is it's an emotional process, right? So at times, because we're dealing with where you're living.
Well, and it's a personal process too. There may not be emotions involved, but like sometimes religion type stuff comes into the equation, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's nothing against your beliefs or anything, but let's appeal to the masses here. And also I think more important than like any sort of political type conversation is just not giving anything else for anybody to focus on other than the home itself.
Exactly.
Right. And more apparent to like, the personal family stuff. Like, I always leave it up to people because, like, I can be okay with it in terms of, like, if you just have, like, small pictures of your family. Yeah. Like, some people are like, I don't want anybody knowing who we are. I don't want to know who our kids are. Like, I get it, right? Exactly. Some people don't care.
Exactly.
But then there's some people that don't care, and they have, like, the massive, like, the canvas, family room, and there's a ton of them, each of the kids, and it's just everywhere. That's the stuff that affects, like, the marketing of it. Yeah. Because now we're not focused on the family room. And like the picture of you guys, that you had in the fall and it's blown up to life size, it stands out more than anything.
And I'm gonna piss off all my hunting buddies, right?
Okay. Yeah. But
I'll walk into a living room, and the topic of the living room is not how big it is, right? Is the big buck on the, oh my God, what is that? And the wife is like, oh my goodness, I would never have something like that. So it takes away, it would take away the attention, of your beautiful space, of your beautiful home sometimes, right?
Because
it's like they go down this rabbit trail.
Yeah. You run the risk of it, and why run the risk of it? Right. So this is where you gotta, to your point, you gotta put the emotions aside.
Yeah.
Because especially with certain things, and to a degree, I mean, hunting is one of these where it's like, I hunt, whatever it is, right? I killed that animal. It's on my mantle, and that's where it's staying. Damn it. Not to stereotype it all, right? But it's just, I get it. You're proud of it. You don't want to take it down. Screw you if you don't like it type of thing. But that's really not what we're after, because, you're going to sell the home for top dollar is the goal. Let's not take, your market could be this big for the home. It's always the way I relate to it. Why do anything that shaves it down?
Absolutely.
Right? And that example, it's not like we're trimming the market down to this,
Right.
but it's like, why do anything where we risk like turning somebody off because of a choice that we made that could have been made differently, and it's free.
Absolutely.
To your point.
And we're taking out time, of the home seller's time, right? To allow this person to come through the house, right? And show it. Why not maximize that time that we're already taking out the opportunity of that person walking through?
And it just there's some obvious stuff that like just if anything is gonna stick out that's not relevant to the home itself, just get it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that, aside from normal stuff like a couch.
Yeah. There could also be a rearrangement of your furniture that can help, visualize that room a lot better, right?
I think it just sort of fits a lot of these categories in terms of decluttering, cleaning, rearranging, right? Or the removing the personal stuff, rearranging the personal stuff.
Yeah.
But just like staging. And don't get me wrong, there's opportunities where like hire the professional staging company and you'll see a return on that investment.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, just stage with what you have, or stage by taking away what you have.
Absolutely.
That's the conversation. Again, all this is free, so love it.
Absolutely.
Love it. Good stuff. Anything else to add?
I guess let's and this is one I think it will make you laugh. So, I had a situation, and this is something important to discuss, right, with your real estate professional, and maybe you want to discuss this with the family and how you would like to move forward with a sale. If you have security cameras, not only on the exterior of your property, but on the inside of your property, and maybe they're in certain rooms, right? And I recently, obviously, just had a baby, my daughter Addie, and we have a camera in her room for obvious reasons. But if we are going to keep these cameras on, number one, we should disclose, right?
We have to.
We have to disclose. And number two is prepare yourself to, if you're going to keep them on and you're going to watch the recording from when the buyers are going to go through, just understand that they have no filter, right? They're sometimes, even after we disclose, they're thinking they're walking through and there's no one in the house. Sometimes that can offend you the way that they have an opinion about a property you've lived in for 4 or 5 years,
Or longer, especially.
I was in a situation where a party was walking through the house. They were being recorded, and we disclosed. My client, they wrote, he's like, I don't want to accept their offer because of what they said.
That's a tricky one, yeah.
And it's like, it never came to my mind of how much this could affect. And even though we should be very respectful, right, when we're walking through someone's house, but it is just one of those things that, as professionals, we're in these houses all the time. And sometimes the buyers just have no filter, right? And that doesn't mean that they don't love the opportunity of living in your house.
It's also just the odds too, in terms of the percentages of how they play out in terms of what the market is. And if you're getting 30 showings, and you're looking at the recording from all of them, you're going to drive yourself nuts. Yeah,
preparing.
I think the important. I think there's an important point here. It has to be disclosed.
Yeah.
Now, our disclosures that are required to sell a home in this market, they were revised to include this question. If you have, surveillance recording, yes or no?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have legally, whatever you want to call it, you have to disclose it. So just, I mean, I think it's a good point. Something that, like, not saying don't, because if a situation happens, now you have the security feature, but you're probably not going to want to
Right. I'm saying if you're going to leave them
comb
on
through the tape.
just let's mentally prepare,
Right.
Am I going to be able to hear this person trash my carpet, right?
Yep.
And then would that affect me to the point that I won't accept a great offer for my house?
To the point also that if you're concerned about the security, and you that's the reason why you're recording,
right?
And you're concerned about security because of your belongings,
right?
Take the opportunity to either protect those belongings or remove them from the property.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, look, we've never had a problem in that regard
Yeah.
of the thousands of homes that we've sold, but I've heard of
never
crazier things happen. Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
So yeah, good stuff, man. Good start. This was a great
Absolutely.
episode, man. So thanks for joining us, Luis Pichardo, new member, Anthony Butera Team. Jason Mancuso here as always. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out at anthonybuterateam.com, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.